This is the Underhand. Take a look at the big screen at our next event.
Underhand chop. In the past, the underhand chop technique was used to split logs. Standing on a horizontally anchored block, the athletes cut through a 32-centimeter log. The block has to be worked from both sides.
First heat of the Underhand chop, Tristan Van Beek versus Mike Esch. The winner of the
and it is getting late in the game right now. Van Beek known for his springboard, known for his standing, and he's going to have to...
Here we go with the Underhand chop. Tristan Van Beek, winner of the first discipline of the day, the springboard chop, finds himself in the top 3 as it stands right now in overall points. He'd like to stay there. He'd like to go on to the finals. Mike Esch, just the first man out, sitting in 5th place in overall points. Mike Esch, the winner in the stock saw today. So 2 winners squaring off again in the first heat of the Underhand.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Logs rolled into a horizontal position. Tristan Van Beek doing very well in springboard and standing block. He's got to be a technician here, though, too, and disassemble this log. Mike Esch, one of the best underhand cutters in the world. Wow, very close to the foothold for Mike Esch. You can see that great overhead shot. Mike Esch steps in, tightens up his face. Look at the precision cutting from Tristan Van Beek. He's going to the guts, one to the bottom,
but it's Mike Esch
that's going to come out with the win. So Tommy, when timber gets firm, when we're dealing with harder timber up here, the technicians rise to the top. Mike Esch is a technician. This is where axe presentation matters, disassembly
Both cuts
matters.
are good.
I love how Tristan Van Beek just paid homage to Mike Esch. You're not going anywhere, buddy. Let's get our... Mike, a great cut. You were wound up on 3. They didn't even hit the 2 in the countdown, and you had one axe tickling the rafters up there ready to go. You're pumped up.
Yeah, I really wanted to put a good cut down. So it was a decent log, and I was pretty happy to cut it nice.
And how did that log compare to your standing block? You said it was decent. From my view, it looked like it had a sap ring around, and that's typically farther up the tree?
Yeah, the log had a big sack ring on it. Usually that's a bit firmer, but it was definitely softer than the standing block, for sure.
Thanks, Mike. Big round of applause from Mike Esch. Mike Esch, we'll see him in the hot sun.
Well, here's a look down the line. That's Tristan Van Beek and the near ground Mike Esch on the far side. You can see the block starts to shift there as we watch back and forth as these guys exchange blows. Van Beek, one in the guts, Esch to the top, Van Beek to the bottom, but it doesn't move. He keeps going back to the bottom. There's a second round to the bottom, works his way back up through. That block may have been severed, but it takes one more blow before it drops down. This is at the discretion of the cutter. So we saw that little bit of shift in that block from Tristan Van Beek. He could have stepped off. If he was confident that, you know what, that block is broken, it's just kind of held together, set together, but even though the fibers are severed, he could step away. If the judge can come up and pull the end of that log away without any resistance, without any fibers holding it, it'd be a clean cut. So that may have been a win for Tristan Van Beek. I don't know, though. It seemed like it really took one more hit to actually sever that log.
Well, it's Mike Esch competing well into his mid-50s here. Really a marvel out here. And for the second time today, he finds himself in the lead in the discipline. This one's far from over now, but let's look at the overall standings. And that's what it's all about. Nate Hodges on top. He's got that one in his pocket. He's going on to the finals. No doubt about that. Tristan Van Beek, as it stands now, of course, this is a sort of a rolling standings as it stands. And Dakota Robarge and Mike Esch, for now, having moved up into the top 4.
The Underhand.
Yeah, but let's get ready for this.
Calvin Willard from Morgantown, West Virginia. Josh Wilson. Josh Wilson.
Post a blistering time in this underhand. I will fall out of my chair.
Okay.
He has been cutting underhands so well.
Where he stood with 2 fists skyward with the world's best.
Going to be Calvin Willard on stand 1. There he is.
Absolutely. You gotta wonder if
Calvin's got work to do, trying to do his best to make it into the top 4. Josh Wilson done a great job of coming back from a very, very tough start to his day.
hard not to go back to the well with this one. Calvin Willard, always so strong in the underhand.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Josh Wilson, stand number 2, battling back from a lackluster performance in that springboard chop, has been cutting underhands very strong this season in other competitions. I think, oh, and he's around already. Look at that axe just buried. It is going so deep in the block, it's hanging up. Wilson's gonna get it gathered up. He's gotta get, oh man, that axe is just sticking. That's robbing momentum, but look at that, 22-second cut. I feel like a better axe block matchup, and he'd have been sub 20 in that underhand.
Well, you can see the compression wood, not as much sapwood on that log. Firm log for Willard, but Josh Wilson, I think he only needed 2 drivers. I'm not even sure he was aware that log was going to come off. But he did a massive job in the front, just riding that wave of confidence in the underhand.
Both cuts are good.
Rich getting pumped up now on the stage. He's feeling it here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, both cuts are good. Damn right they are. I don't know if you were ready for that block to come off. You started driving and all of a sudden it just severed. Were you ready for that? You knew it. Big front.
Yes, yeah, big front. And I knew it was coming off. To be honest, I was a little surprised about that block. You know, because you cut so much wood over the years, you can figure out where the block is in the tree. I had a butt log, I had no sapwood on it. Okay. So usually in West Virginia, when that's not there, it's gonna be a corky block, but it's gonna be a good one. And, but all the wood we've had today, it's like, oh, I don't know, but it chopped like I thought it would, so. Yeah, I was happy with it.
Great job, Josh Wilson, your leader in the underhand chop. On fire today. Let's watch the replay.
Well, here's a good look at Josh Wilson in the near ground as he moves into the second half of this log. Watch this axe bury right to the maker's mark, as we like to say. A little bit of a hang up though. That axe is going well deep into the block, but it wasn't free in the wood, especially over on his drive side, over on this right side. And that just robs energy, that robs momentum. There is a lot of time to be saved if that axe was a little freer. He mentioned the block was a little on the corky side. Does make it soft, but it tends to grab that axe going into the block.
I'm like, he's going to be done by the time Dave's done talking to me over here. And that back, holy cow, just melted away.
Josh Wilson, good time there, 21.85. Going to be a good one to shoot at for our remaining 4 competitors in the 2 heats that are coming up. Calvin Willard's time, 33.35. Some trouble there in the underhand for him.
Boy, Dakota, I underestimated his single block ability. I'm not going to underestimate it in the underhand chop. We'll see if they're ready. And when they say go, just go, Dave. Okay, heat number 3 of the underhand chop. Zach Brous versus Dakota Robarge.
Should be a good matchup here. Zach Brous right there. Got a personal best right around what the top times are so far today. Going up against Dakota Robarge. Also in that region. For personal best, though, we'll see how well they perform in this heat, 3rd heat of the underhand chop.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Robarge looking to fight his way into the finals again. What an accomplishment from this young man, originally from New York, now from Michigan. Looks like a great pile of chips on the backside of this. Zach Brous is not waiting around. He is in a relatively desperate situation. Look at the slabs of wood coming out of Zach Brous's block. Tons of wood at the bottom. He's got to chase that. One more to the bottom. It didn't go.
Oh.
Dakota Robarge is going to take him. Zach Brous had the top of that log clear through, just showing daylight. Great overhead shot from the JM folks looking down that block, and you just see that wing of wood sticking out at the bottom. It makes this awesome triangle that you just bury the
Both
axe and it
cuts
just
are good.
sucks it down in there. But he just had he was overcut on the top, undercut at the bottom, cost him extra drivers at the bottom. Dakota Robarge reeled him in and passed him.
All right, standing here with Zach Brous after that cut. Just you shook your head looking at Robarge after you fell off the log and then finished it. Talk to me about the cut, buddy, because it looked pretty good up to that point.
Yeah, it was a lot better than it tested, and we were setting up our blocks today. So it took me by surprise, but I took an extra chip in the top. I didn't need two in the back, and I thought it was going to come off. I stepped off, so I easily wasted 2-3 seconds there that I really needed. So, a good cut overall.
Now talk to me about testing the block at the beginning of the show. You get a test block out back that you get to put all of your axes in. And then we've seen variability in the wood today. So you tested them again in your footholds up front. What were you seeing? Because you said it was different on each side of your log.
Yeah, so on my underhand log, it was a drier log with no sap. My standing block and my test log out back were all sap. So the axes tested way different, but in the footholds, a chisel worked nice, and that's what I went with.
All right, give him a big round of applause. Zach Brous, everybody. Great cut.
You heard Zach Brous talking about axe selection. The underhand chop is when you get the best window into what your timber is going to be like. You actually cut your own footholds. We see where the competitors are standing. Beautiful shot down the line there. You get to test axes a little bit as you're working your way and making those footholds. So you get a little bit of an insight in what is cutting well. Zach Brous selecting for a chisel grind on his axe. You see him, he thought he had that driven off. He was already on his heels, goes after the bottom, had to go back and just pick up one more hit.
Well, there it is, Dakota Robarge with the 23.69 right there. Puts him into second place, and Zach Brous falling about a second behind, part of a second behind, 24.24. That sort of unfortunate extra hit needed right there. But Josh Wilson, man, still on top, hanging in there with a 21.85. Pretty good margin ahead of Robarge, but two tough customers coming up in the next team.
Underhand chop, Trevor Beaudry and Nate Hodges.
Well, Nate Hodges riding high as expected in first place in overall points by a good margin right here. To no one's surprise, Trevor Beaudry thought he'd be further along in points here, but had an unfortunate DQ earlier today in the competition. He's been fighting that and will fight it to the bitter end. Hodges on stand 2, Beaudry on stand 1.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Beaudry on stand number 1, a traditional slide-handing chopper. You look at Nate Hodges on stand number 2, a club-handed chopper. We mentioned he tends to be a little unconventional with some of his events, using those muscles, using that strength. Hands stay together at the bottom, gives himself an extra wrap of tape for that top hand. Oh, what a finish from these two guys! I was about to say advantage Beaudry. I thought he had that by a full swing. I would have swore that Hodges had to go back for one more swing. But again, a testament to the power of Nate Hodges. Just absolutely blistering pace with that axe and slams through the bottom of the block.
Both cuts are good.
Just go to your left a little bit. Let's see. Trevor, what an absolute unleash of power, unleash of emotion into that underhand chop. Again, on go, you came flying down, timed it beautifully. Looked like maybe one extra hit on the bottom. Tell us, you hyperanalyze that cut for us.
Yeah, so as we've been saying all day, those logs were firm. And I knew I put the first round in, I knew I needed to put 9 in the front. 1 and 1, put an extra in the bottom. I actually shorted the front. If you see it on TV, I missed on the chip side bad. That's why in the back, I opened up and I stuck with it instead of trying to punch it off. And I just knew I just had to lay the pace to it, keep moving, and let the axe eat.
All right, great job. And for all the up and coming timber sports athletes,
that's how you win, knowing exactly what you did, the awareness as soon as you come off. And some of these athletes.
There's a look down the line, stand 1, near ground, stand 2, far ground. So that's Beaudry in the near ground. Look at the hop turn, the helicopter turn from Nate Hodges in the background as he tries to get around as quick as possible. Massive slabs of wood falling out of Beaudry's block here. Watch the finish. Let's watch this as this comes to its conclusion. Beaudry to the bottom. Now he's turning his attention to the drive side, one top, and then down to the bottom. These guys are just in sync down through this log. It is Beaudry just ahead here by maybe a fraction of a swing. Oh, not quite there yet. I thought that was the ending swing. We're not quite there yet. Wow, what a tight finish. Trevor Beaudry, just a small advantage. Hats off to Trevor Beaudry. If you can hang with Nate Hodges in a swing speed competition, like Arden Koger Jr., I keep going back to Arden Koger Jr. for swing speed in the underhand. Hodges is right there with him. If Trevor Beaudry is putting up that kind of pace and that kind of swing speed, good on Trevor Beaudry.
Well, it was a much-needed win in the discipline of the underhand chop. Trevor Beaudry with the 8 points, 19-4-8, just a shade ahead of Nate Hodges, second place, Josh Wilson, third, and Dakota Robarge in fourth.
Let's keep this party going.
First heat of the underhand chop, Aaron Hovis versus Billy Cornelius.
Aaron Hovis going to be on stand number 1, going up against Billy Cornelius. Aaron Hovis on paper looks like a heavy favorite in this particular first heat of the underhand.
And both these guys solid underhand cutters, and Aaron Hovis has just been doing exceptionally well today. Just really making this stage his own. Billy Cornelius is struggling mightily right now in the basement, spot number 8, that dreaded spot number 8. He is looking to chop his way up to anything other than 8th place right now. Boy, and the pace from Cornelius on stand number 2. He is bringing it. He is right there on the start. Excellent swing speed. Hovis around to the backside, 2 blows ahead, but I think Cornelius has done a lot of work in the front side of that log. A pile of large chips. Clean face for Cornelius as well. What a great looking cut for Cornelius. I think Hovis is going to get him though. Maybe not.
Oh,
there it is. It is. It's Hovis by one blow. Just barely. Great clean cut from Cornelius. One hit behind Aaron Hovis.
Both cuts are good.
Let's get a talk from Aaron Hovis. We talked about the equipment that they bring. See if Hovis, I want to see if Hovis, did you use the same axe that you used in the standing block chop, Aaron?
No, well, as I was back there testing, feeling of the weight of my underhand versus the springboard versus the standing block, they were all a little bit different. So testing in the footholds, testing in our block out back, I made a switch. I've used 3 different axes today, and that springboard block was just hard, but I've made the right choices in the other events. So.
Let's talk real quick about these axes. You know, these axes are forged in the North Island of New Zealand, but then to send around the world to be ground. Who grinds your axes?
Rob Spry. Thank you, Rob. These things are cutting awesome.
There you go, Rob Spry, right down the road for me. Rob Spry grinding some of the best axes in the world. We'll let you go rest up, buddy. Hot saw. Hot saw coming up.
Well, here's a look at that run in the underhand. Billy Cornelius on the left, Billy Cornelius on the right, Aaron Hovis on the left. About a 2-blow advantage for Hovis into the back of that block. Billy Cornelius cut the back of that block beautifully, though. excellent axe placement, tons of slope, throwing a big, looks like about an 8x8 axe into the backside of this log, and it really was just a horse race at the bottom. Both these guys had a fair amount of timber still at the bottom, had to roll the nose around into that last triangle of wood at the bottom. One hit advantage to Aaron Hovis. Great race, two great competitors.
Yeah, really good race, separated by 1 second, basically. Aaron Hovis gets the win over Billy Cornelius, but Billy notching a personal best, something he needs at this point in the proceedings here today.
But your current leader, Aaron Hovis, 26.09 seconds.
All right, so the next heat of the underhand chop, Dave. We got some heavy hitters coming to the stage, looking for some very valuable steel points. Here we go. Next heat on position 1. Let's hear it for Alex Storm. On position 2, Logan Scarborough.
Alex Storm, Logan Scarborough. Alex Storm having a good day today. Spending most of his time in the top 4. He's on stand number 1. Logan Scarborough kind of staying right around that number 4 spot. Sometimes above, sometimes below. Mostly above, though. So he's going to be bearing down on this one, you can bet, with only one event after this one.
And Logan Scarborough over the years has switched between being a club-handed chopper and a slide-handing chopper. I'm curious to see what he's going to break out here today. I got to be honest, I thought these two would be in first.
Athletes ready.
Now,
Stand to
we may
your
see that
timber.
scale tip
3,
here in the underhand,
2,
but
1,
Alexander
go.
Storm's been cutting good underhands too. Swing speed advantage to Alexander Storm. A little bit of a hang up there from the bottom of the block. The axe resting in the bottom of that block. A little wiggle of the handle. A quick turn for Logan Scarborough on stand number 2. Alex Storm just spraying hits into the back of that block, but he's getting the job done. I feel like Scarborough was even alternating swing strategies during the chop.
Yeah. Making sure those lower fibers are severed. What a speed. I don't remember seeing Alex hang up at all. It was just recoiled back into the wood. Didn't seem to be any glitches.
Brother, you remember how that one turned out?
Just almost a flawless cut considering how tough these logs are.
Both cuts are good.
It could have been for Scarborough there if that axe wasn't sticking for him. He was driving a ton of wood, but here's Alex Storm.
Yeah,
here,
we'll
Dave.
talk about it to Alex Storm. You know, everybody thinks, hey, why not just make the axe as thin as possible so it penetrates a little bit? If it's too thin, it'll stick. Whatever axe you use, buddy, the way you delivered it is beautiful. I didn't see any stick. You had this momentum. You carried it right to the end.
Yeah, Dave, that's the same axe I used in the standing block. By far, it tested the best. It's been a 2-year process. I've been reworking my underhand swing. I went to a training camp, the Pennsylvania Lumberjack Championships put on by Zach Browse last year. And my first swing up on a block, Mike Esch said, we're gonna change everything you're doing. You can get a block off, but you're not cutting them the way you should. So I've been working a lot on cutting a lot square, which is keeping the axe freer in the log. It hasn't paid off. It's a long process to rework a swing, and it's been about a year and a half in the making to really start to cut blocks and have them come off square.
And that's what I've heard even guys like Matt Koger say. It takes 1 to 2 years to change the mechanics of your swing. It's pretty impressive, buddy. And you really do. I like how you give a shout out to Pennsylvania Association putting in a training camp on.
Yeah, for all the young kids out there, keep an open mind. Someone tells you're not doing something right, listen to them because you're probably not.
Congratulations, buddy. Great cut. Hot saw coming up for that guy.
I had a lot of people tell me I wasn't doing things right over the years, and I tried to listen. Yeah, but they talked a lot there with Alexander Storm about the axe being free, and I mentioned during the original run of this how the axe was hanging up for Scarborough. Every one of there you see in the far side, the axe kind of rests, and he has to give that handle a little shake. On the chip side, it releases, but there again, on the drive side, hang up. The top is clear. Now he's clearing chips, but when he goes into into the bottom, it just sticks, a little micro stick every time. Dave Jewett said before, it's like pedaling your bicycle uphill as hard as you can and then hitting a pothole. And it just knocks the momentum away.
Alex Storm, 21.52 to take over the lead in the underhand chop. Logan Scarborough at second place, 24-32.
Full House, California.
Cassidy Shear, for the first time today, not in the top 4 to start this underhand chop, this discipline right here. So he's looking to do very good. He's got, Cassidy Shear in there, and Walter Page not in the top 4 at this point. So Walt Page, a little bit of pressure on him right here. Let's get that straight. Cassidy Shear looking to hold him off as best he can. Shear on stand 1, Page on stand 2.
Walt Page is a good underhand cutter, but I never consider this his mainstay event. However, this year he has been coming on stronger than in the past, and he's going to need every steel point he can muster. Boy, the pace from Cassidy Shear. Cassidy Shear around the back, 2 hits in ahead. Walt Page very close to that foothold. Walt almost a little bit of a side slap on some of those hits. On the chip side, they're driving now. Walt's got a lot of wood in the bottom. He had to go back and chip it again. Wood is not what these guys thought. Cassidy Shear, wow. I didn't think Walt Page was that close. Cassidy Shear showing a 22.38 as his unofficial time.
8 in the front. It just blew apart. I think he got incredibly excited. See some of the redness on the chip side of that log of Cassidy. It may have been tough.
Both these guys just focused on that top 4. Walt Page on the outside looking in. I know he was feeling the pressure. That 23-second cut, I like that cut for him.
Both cuts are good.
Again, not close to his personal best time, but
all right, we're going to pull Cassidy Shear in here, talk about that cut. I haven't seen the replay yet, though, Cass. We couldn't see the front side of that log. Talk to me about the turn there. Did you drive enough on the front, and was it just compression wood on the back, or what were you seeing?
I have no idea, Dave. Probably could have gone 10 on the back, and probably should have done cleared one more chip on the top, on the back. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. Whatever, I'm gonna go have a good hot saw. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Yo-ho!
Yo-ho! Give it up for Cassidy Shear there. We're gonna take a look at this replay
and see what happened on the front side of that log here, Dave. What do you see?
well, here's Cassidy Shear opening up that block, goes 2 and 2, over to draw those chips out, goes right to the bottom, right to the top, and now he's going to start, he draws one more chip out of the bottom. That's a good insurance policy, but it just doesn't seem like it got him very far. The wood just blowing apart in the back side of this, and he just may not have placed drivers in the front side where they needed to. A lot of wood at the top. There it is. That's probably that chip hit he was talking about. Goes 3 drivers down, doesn't go anywhere. 4th driver. Now he is just looking for any fiber he can find. He's now driving. You see him back on his heels trying to draw that axe in. He is driving a tremendous amount of wood. You can't even see it in the bottom center of that block. You're just kind of swinging on faith that it's in there somewhere, looking for those fibers.
Well, Cassidy Shear trimming Walt Page by a little more than a second there. So Shear standing in second place and Walt Page in third. Alexander Storm with 21.52, still the top time. 1 heat remains in the underhand. Overall standings, this is the rolling tracking of that right now, and Cassidy Shear on top. Of course, we've got 1 more heat left to go, and that will change everything. Alex Storm, Walt Page, and Logan Scarborough filling out our top 4 as it stands on that sheet.
National title. Looks like we have 1 final heat in the underhand. This will be Mark Boquin versus Matthew Koger.
All right, final heat, the matchup, the 2 top rated in the underhand are going to be Mark Boquin on stand number 1, Matt Koger, 7-time U.S. champion on stand number 2.
I think we've got a real race here. We've been talking about the transformation of Mark Boquin. Always been a strong underhand cutter, and I think we're going to see more pace from Boquin. Matt Koger, though, in the underhand. I mean,
athletes ready.
This will be a race. This will be a race.
3, 2, 1, go!
Matt Koger up, ready to go. Axe downward, ready to strike on go. Look at the pace from Boquin. That is Matt Koger-like pace over on stand number 1 from Mark Boquin. Slight advantage at the turn for Matt Koger. Let's see who did more work in the front side of the log. Both drawing chips. Boquin getting a little out of control on the bottom of that block.
Wow.
There it is, Matt Koger by only a second.
Both cuts are good.
Must have been a tough piece of wood down there on position 2.
Matt Koger's a big guy. I'm not going to give him a hard time. Matt, you really got to chop the log you're drawing. What's this expression on your face mean? What is it saying?
Just kind of like I guess like a reassurance that like, okay, even though the wood's firm, you're still cutting them good. And there's a few things to clean up on, and that's chopping.
Yeah, you always have a no panic expression on your face. I love the story. At 16 years old, you were the hardest hitter in the country. You brought the speed after that. Talk about who coached you. How many are you? Third generation? Talk about the upbringing in this sport.
Yeah, so I guess I would be considered a third generation competitor. My great uncle was the one who got my family started in the sport. Traditionally, timber camps versus timber camps, and then cousins and uncles, and my father taught me how to chop and got me started. And a gentleman from Australia, Jim Alexander, really started encouraging those first few steps, and then I've learned from everybody since along the way.
Thanks, Matt. Matt Koger on the prowl for another national title with one event going to go, the hot saw.
If you have sensitive ears,
Well, every once in a while you got to reformulate a recipe, and this is our first look at the reformulated Mark Boquin, and I like what I see. Great cutting from Boquin. He gives up about a swing and a half to Matt Koger in the backside of the log, but you can see as Matt Koger goes to open up the backside of that log, the outside is just a little bit corky, case hardened something, and the axe just grabs, sticks the heel into the guts of that one, but pulls it together, had a lot of wood to drive, had to really swing through to the far side of that log. Two tremendous cuts as we hear the hot saws fire up in the background.
Oh, make no mistake about it, they are on the way. And Matt Koger taking top points in the underhand chop, his official time of 20.99. Alex Storm remaining in there somehow between Koger and Boquin. Mark Boquin with a 21.79.
Two disciplines remaining. This is the first heat of the underhand. This is Brad Jones and David Moses.
Going to be Brad Jones versus David Moses in this first heat on stand one. There's Brad Jones right there. Finds himself just outside by about 2 positions of the top 4. And he can put on a charge here. Get a good result in the hot saw to end it up and possibly make it in. David Moses competing in his 60s now. He is 60 years old. Quitting himself well here.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Brad Jones says, don't call me a rookie. He's had an exceptional run here today. He's outside the bubble, would like to cut his way in. Regardless, an exceptional effort from Brad Jones. David Moses has already announced this is his last year. Win, lose, or draw, his last time on the timber sports stage. So we love watching this man cut, putting up an exceptionally clean underhand chop. He is going one to the guts, down to the bottom, but Brad Jones is off already. There's David Moses off.
Well, you saw that top drive, middle drive, lower drive. When that comes off, that's the plan. He had a plan. Worked for him. Axe is working for him. Brad Jones is glaring. You may have to do this interview with Jones. He's wound up.
Both cuts are good.
Man, there was some hate in those eyes to that underhand block for Jones when he came out. And he executed again, came off on time in the back. Brad, talk to me what you were seeing in that block, buddy. You attacked it.
Yeah, I undercut the standing block, so I overcut this one a little bit, but it kept my hits rolling good, which is what I wanted. So time's not going to stand up, but it was a good time for me.
Absolutely, buddy. I know this wood, vastly different than the stuff that you chop at home up in New England. Talk to me about what you were feeling in axe testing and then going into this log.
There are a lot of guys that are better at axe testing than me. I only have a handful, 2 or 3, that I'm going to use in each event anyways. So I brought 4 axes. 2 of them are staying in the box, and 2 of them I'm cutting with.
All right, buddy. Give him a big round of applause. Excellent cut here in the underhand. We'll see him in the hot saw.
Well, let's have a look at these two guys go head to head. It could not be more of a dichotomy. David Moses, 60 years young, the veteran competitor in his last year on the right. Brad Jones, his first year here in the professional ranks on the Stihl Timber Sports stage, both putting up exceptional, technically correct cuts. Brad Jones just doing a little more work in the front and manages to punch it off a little bit quicker in the back.
Brad Jones' official time of 25.29. David Moses, about 3 seconds and change back at 28.89.
Second heat of the underhand chop, Tyler White and Arden Koger Jr.
Tyler White on stand number 1. Going to be going against Arden Koger Jr. here. Both these athletes need to, as we say, make big things happen in these last 2 disciplines. The only thing left after the underhand is the hot saw competition.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1. Go!
Swing speed has been the legacy for Arden Koger Jr., just pistoning hits into this underhand block. Tyler White is doing his best to match and keep that speed. The patented helicopter spin. Oh, he had to go back and pick up that hit over on his left side. Arden Koger Jr.'s driving top, one in the guts, going another to the guts, down to the bottom. It is not shifting, looking for those fibers. There it is, Arden Koger Jr. at 23-26. Tyler White does his best. Oh, he's trying to find those last fibers. Each of those step-offs is just agonizing for a competitor.
Sub 24 seconds. I love that spin turn, and he nailed it. It's very difficult to nail that and be accurate on that entrance to the backside.
Both cuts are good.
Yeah, that was vintage Jamie Koger on that spin.
Great speed once again, great power. I always brag about your spin turn, and you nailed it, buddy. How difficult is that? And would you suggest timber sports athletes coming up in the ranks attempt that?
This is about efficiency. This is a sport where you have to maximize or minimize your time on the log. However, you can do that with hit cadence or with proper axe placement or with an efficient turn. It just makes things go faster and smoother.
Sub 24 seconds, great time, Arden. You want to watch your replay? Well, here we go. And you're one of the best commentators. Talk about this.
Well, what's going through my mind right now is that I wanted to make sure I put 11 hits in the front because the wood was fairly stiff. Didn't really hit that first hit properly, but I made up for it with the next 2. After that, I'm getting into the wood, and then I was like, okay, let's drive this off. And I actually hit 1 extra hit. The log was off before I actually hit this last hit in the bottom, but I went ahead and hit it just to be certain. It was off there. I didn't need that last hit, so it is what it is. I'll take the cut. we'll see what happens in the hot saw.
Get your hot saw ready. There you go, Arden Koger. Always willing to give a great interview. That makes our job easy.
Arden Koger giving us a commentary on his own performance there, and it was good enough to take over the top spot at 23.62 official time for Arden Koger Jr.
Heat number 3 of the underhand chop, Grant Foreman and Jason Lentz.
All right, a matchup here in the underhand is going to be Grant Foreman going up against Jason Lentz. Grant Foreman's been hanging in there today. Would like to qualify for another final, that is for sure. He's in the 4th spot right now coming into this event. I won't say right now, but coming into this discipline, he was in the 4th spot, and that's what really counts. Jason Lentz in 2nd place to start the underhand chop.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Grant Foreman with a very commanding performance in the standing block chop is a tough call here going head-to-head against Jason Lentz. Lentz around to the backside, opening 2 and 2, a different strategy than we saw from Arden Koger Jr. in that last round. Grant Foreman, though, turning right with him. Oh, look at Jason Lentz.
Wow.
What a ridiculous performance as he just blows through a tremendous amount of timber in the bottom of that log. Ridiculous. Jason Lentz just doesn't understand the concept of timber. He will just, I'll look at a chunk of wood and go, there's no way he can drive that off. And then Jason Lentz drives it off.
Both cuts are good.
A good cut. There it is. How about Jason Lentz, though, Dave? Absolute animal. Jason, talk to me about that cut, dude. Didn't look like it came off when you wanted to on the back side. Went back for almost one more hit there. What did you see?
My left hand hit in the bottom, both sides. Bottom left hand hit both sides. Didn't go where I wanted it to. Man, this humidity up here, it's tough on these axe handles and hands. You got to be a real good axeman to swing an axe in this stuff. So, yeah, it's what it is.
All right, buddy. Hot saw coming up next. One of your favorite events. I know you got a lot of points right now. What can we expect to see?
I'll put 3 on the deck. That's first.
I love it, buddy. Good luck in the hot saw. Jason Lentz, everybody.
Here we go, side by side. There's Grant Foreman in the background on the left. That last hit from Jason Lentz there, you see it hang up. He goes into a 2 and 2 rotation, draws a big slab of wood out, couple of sticks of the axle. That just robs momentum. Watch him go down here to the bottom, goes top, bottom.
Wow.
I thought he'd have maybe 1 more blow, 2 more blows in there. You just have to recalibrate. Standing block and underhand. Jason Lentz will just drive timber. He just slices fibers so powerfully and so efficiently.
Jason Lentz, official time of 19.61. He's got the top points with 1 heat remaining in the underhand chop.
Final heat in the underhand chop, Ben Nicely and Matt Slingerland.
Well, here it is, Ben Nicely and Matt Slingerland. Matt Slingerland been on the top of this points race for the most of this competition, this Pool C competition. Going up against Ben Nicely, he's been hanging in there himself. Came into the underhand in 3rd spot, the 3rd spot overall.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
These guys have cut head-to-head dozens of times in the Mid-Atlantic region at regional competitions. Now they're going head-to-head here in Milwaukee. This is qualifying time for the championships. Ben Nicely with a huge hang-up, another huge hang-up. Matty Slingerland is not waiting around. That axe is free, it's moving. He's shifted tons of wood. He's got to drive. Where is it? There it is. There it is for Matty Slingerland, 19.67.
Both cuts are good.
Man, I knew, Dave, that Matty was going to lay down a cut. He came out onto the stage with some swag on that one. Just went out there, knew what he had for a block, knew he had a good axe. What a cut.
Awesome cut, dude. We're going to wait patiently to see if it's you or Lentz taking the win. I know it really doesn't matter for you going into the hot saw. You seem to bring some speed in that cut. Did you find a new gear?
Yeah, getting a win always matters, Dave, but I told myself today that I was going to try to find some speed. I've been working on my swing. Like you guys said earlier, it takes a couple years to get it right, and at this point, I just need to go fast, so I said I was going to try to hammer down. Made a few mistakes, but things we can correct for tomorrow.
You know, we talk about the hot saw in case we don't get a chance. You bring these $12,000 engines. By the way, don't go anywhere. This is about to happen. Your hot saw, it made it here. It had a journey to get the crankshaft repaired. I'm just getting right into this. Is your hot saw running?
Yeah, Jerry, if you're watching, couldn't thank you enough. He got it running. He had a week's notice. It's unbelievable, and it's ready to go.
If you have sensitive ears, plug them. You're going to hear Matty's hot saw warming up momentarily. Let's see who took the win in the underhand.
Well, let's go back and watch that underhand. There you have them head-to-head. Ben Nicely on the left, Matty Slingerland on the right. Look at the slab of wood that Matty Slingerland draws out of that block. Clears it away so he doesn't need a chip hit. He is well deep into this block. I'm kind of wondering if he had a little bit of extra wood left on the bottom of the front side. He seemed like he really had to drive deep in there in the bottom. Takes down, not going to win the underhand, but a solid time. Grabs some point. No, excuse me, I stand corrected. The official time, a 19:31 as opposed to the 19:67 we saw earlier.
Yep, 19:31. That makes him the top man in the underhand chop there, Matt Slingerland. His second discipline victory of the day. Jason Lentz in second place and Ben Nicely in third place, kind of maintaining the status quo there in the top four.
All right, Dave. You saw the athletes coming off the stage. It was a lot different than we saw them out back. They were joking around out back. All business heading off the stage right now to get ready for our first heat, the underhand chop.
Well, they are ready. Let's bring out our first man. Tristan Van Beek versus Grant Foreman. Tristan Van Beek, his first year,
Going to kick it off. First heat, the underhand chop, first of our 6 disciplines today. And Tristan Van Beek, whom we just met in our ones to watch there, is going to be on stand number 1. He'll be going up against Grant Foreman, the veteran. He's been here many times, qualified for these championships before, and he has been here and knows how it works. This should be a good matchup here.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Tristan Van Beek, the growth out of this rookie in the offseason, let's call it. Our winter is summertime in other parts of the world where chopping is a known strength. He took a tremendous amount of coaching and came back just ready to win. Grant Foreman, an exceptional technician in this underhand chop. He's got to pick up the pace, though. He's putting the hits where they got to go. The swing speed isn't there. Tristan Van Beek, on the other hand, I see a big pile of chips there. Van Beek has a tremendous amount of work done on his front side of the log, but he's also slid that entire face over to the side. Should set him up to break some timber. Foreman looking to break. Oh, he did it. I was going to say he's going to have to go back to the top. Foreman barely edges out Van Beek as we kick off our national championship for the men's division 2025 edition.
Both cuts are good.
Yeah! That's what Grant needed to start his day right there, Dave.
Yeah, Grant's chopping ability has just accelerated in the last few years. Hey, Grant, buddy, I know you've been dealing with some back problems. How's the back today after that crazy round yesterday in the quarterfinal round? You just made it through, powered that block off.
Yeah, I definitely used a lot of fuel tank yesterday. Block was a little firmer than I thought, but thankfully I chopped it clean. It came off clean. That was the key. Unlike yesterday where I had to step off, jump back on, cost me a few seconds.
We had 1,100 fans in the stands yesterday. You got some crazy fans down there. Who are we looking at?
Got my great support staff, my beautiful wife Mandy, my daughter Addison, my good friends Randy, Sarah. Got Clint Davis out there, Cole Armbruster back helping me. Great fan crew.
Congratulations, great job. There you go, Grant Foreman, our leader in the underhand.
Let's go back and have a look at heat number 1. These guys were right there neck and neck with each other. It was Tristan Van Beek with a slightly faster swing speed. Both these guys, though, putting the axe where it needs to be. I can't emphasize enough the importance of efficiency. Putting the axe exactly where it needs to be, chasing each hit in will save you several inches of timber that you don't need to cut, or you don't need to recut, I should say.
Well, let's take a look at these times here, which reveal a different outcome than the initial unofficial time. So Tristan Van Beek now listed with his personal best as the winner of that heat in 24.28. And Grant Foreman listed at 25.16, so the better part of a second behind.
Second over there in the electronic timing group. They must have seen something we didn't with that jump turn there by Van Beek, and that may be where Van Beek books the heat. That spin turn again, I think he gained a half a second, and he was Grant Foreman slight pause, stepping on the little log, getting his feet set. Again, you have to have 2 feet on the log when the axe strikes it for a legal cut. Absolutely, I love this dude's zen. Look at him just slide through this log and stays calm the entire time. Has never seen to get rattled in these cuts. If he has a tough log, he has a soft log, he cuts them the same and gets him to come off nice and clean. All right, Milwaukee, how's everybody doing out there after that first heat? I've got this t-shirt cannon up here. Here we go. Who wants a t-shirt out there today? Keep cheering, I got more t-shirts, I got more!
Second heat of the underhand chop, Dakota Robarge and Ben Nicely.
Here we go now with heat number 2 on stand 1. It's going to be Dakota Robarge from Sheboygan, Michigan, going up against North Carolina's Ben Nicely. Dakota breaking through last year for the first time into the finals. Acquitted himself quite well. Finished middle of the pack there, but quite an accomplishment. And Ben Nicely has been here multiple times before in his still young career.
Tommy, it throws me a little bit to introduce Dakota Robarge from Michigan.
Athletes ready.
He's a New York boy.
That's right. Yeah,
You're
a New York
guy. Claim those Robarges.
3, 2, 1, go!
As you pointed out, he showed up with an explosion last year. Much like Tristan Van Beek, just blasted his way into the finals. Didn't do as well in the finals as he thought he wanted to do, but holy cow, to make that kind of an impact in the finals at all, and to be back here again a second year in a row. Ben Nicely has one hit, get away from, goes to the bottom, finds those fibers. What a cut from Ben Nicely. Under 20 seconds for Ben Nicely. Put in a massive front face, had the top of that backside just absolutely shoveled out of the back of that log. Left him just a little wing of wood at the bottom. No problem driving it off.
Both cuts are good.
So he's going to be happy with that, get some very valuable points, because this is all about survive and advance today throughout these rounds.
Absolutely. After 3 events, we will lose 2 athletes. Ben, unreal, great swing, great turn to the backside. I think you either picked the right axe, and if you picked the wrong one, you made it look good, buddy. Talk about which axe you choose and why.
No, man, that was the right axe all day. That wood was all there. Yeah, it wasn't going to give me anything, but put in a good cut, didn't change my plan, came right off.
Coming out of North Carolina, you're familiar with these white pine logs coming out of Virginia. How do they vary from, let's say, a white pine log in the upper Wisconsin, northwest Wisconsin?
Man, it's 2 different pieces of wood. 2 different pieces of wood, 2 different edges for your axe, for sure. And then you just got to know what you're doing.
You got a standing block and a springboard coming up. Maybe use that same axe. Big round of applause in the 19-second range. Bent nicely.
Ben Nicely has cut him faster in the past. His personal best around 18 seconds flat. But anytime you're sub 20 when the pine is a little bit firm, and again, I can't emphasize enough, you stick with your plan, nice clean cut. There you see the axe just completely blow through the top of that log. Had to just go chase a little bit of fiber down at the bottom, drives it off, clean cut. That is going to get him a nice little pile of STIHL overall points.
Yeah, a time of 19.52 officially puts Ben Nicely on top of the leaderboard, and a little technical glitch in the first heat. Been revised. Grant Foreman was actually the winner of heat number 1, so he's in second place with 24.28.
He's in 4th. We're going to see how these other athletes pair up out here, Dave.
And we are clear for heat number 3. I'll say, let's bring them out. Cassidy Shear and Mark Boquin.
Next up, former national champion from 2019, Wisconsin's own Cassidy Shear on stand number 1, going up against a tough chopper, Mark Boquin of New York.
Look for big power behind the axe from Mark Boquin, and look for the swing speed of Cassidy Shear. Both of these gentlemen are exceptional axemen. They're going to put the axe exactly where it needs to go.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
You notice how these athletes, they're in motion during that 3-2-1. The axe is on its way to the log, striking right at go. Cassidy Shear, like I said, their speed coming awfully close to his right foothold on the backside of the log. Accuracy as well, though. Look at how those hits are lining up. One got away from a little bit. Boquin has a bit of a murder scene on the backside of this block, and he is now pinched off, nowhere to go. Absolute disaster for Boquin. They're calling it the unofficial timer stop, but he was still swinging. Yeah. So guess what? The time is still going to run. Oh, we talked about accuracy in that first heat, Tommy, and the efficiency of chopping. And I always say, I didn't say it yet, but I always say how it is a strategic disassembly. That was not a strategic disassembly for Mark Boquin on the backside of that block.
Both cuts are good.
Man, Boquin looked like he had something hanging up on him there in the middle of that log. He was reaching too low, finally made the adjustment, but it was 3 or 4 hits too late.
Hey, Cassidy, let's rewind to the quarterfinal round, which happened yesterday. You put an 8-hit front end, and you said if I cut that again, I would have put another 2. What was your pattern today?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to put in 10, but I ran out of wood and had to turn and, did the 10-hit pattern on the back and just... Yeah, I wanted to come off a little bit earlier, but I can't think of any real mistakes there. I'll take it.
Yeah, and a great cut. You really have to take what you can get with these logs. You know, we were talking to Ben Nicely about the difference between West Virginia wood, Virginia, and the North Woods of Wisconsin, where you grow up. How do you feel this Virginia wood is?
I mean, I think it's as even as they can get it, and that's actually all that matters. So,
thanks, Cassidy. Big round of applause. Let's get Cassidy Shear's time. Watch this guy.
Well, here you have it. Cassidy Shear in the near ground Mark Boquin in the background. Cassidy Shear just pounding hits into this block. And the angle, there's the angle I want to see right there. He's going to open 2 and 2, 4 hits, draws a big chip out. And look at how glassy smooth the face is that he's cutting. He is not mishitting. He is not overlapping hits. Each axe blow is chasing the last one in. It's like trying to get a sheet of paper stacked on top of a sheet of paper.
Cassidy Shear official time is going to be 21.32. Puts him into second place as it stands right now. That clock kept running. Mark Boquin having some trouble at the very end there. 29.87 is his time.
He may not make it to the single buck. Let's look at heat number 4 on the other hand. Alex Storm and Matt Koger.
Heat number 4, the underhand chop's going to be Alex Storm. He's been trying to make it to the finals multiple times. This is the first year he's broken through, did it in fine style. He'll be going up against some pretty tough competition. 7-time U.S. champion Matt Koger.
There was a lot of talk, Tommy, about Matt Koger and his performance in the quarterfinals to get here to the finals, and people are saying, he looks a little off, and I go, boy, this all sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It all sounds familiar.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
I feel like we never see full Matt Koger in the quarterfinal rounds. He made it through to the finals, and this is where we're going to see him turn up the wick, I would bet. Alex Storm over on stand number 1, right on Koger's heels into the backside. But look at the form from Koger. Look at the clean face from Koger. He's got some wood there, 1896. Drives off through the bottom. Storm's lost his way a little bit. There's the top, there's the bottom for Alex Storm. A solid time, 23-second run for Alex Storm.
And Knight's in the back watching going, can you just hit it one more time, Matt? But no, Matt's recoil. He hits fast, his recoil is just as fast.
Getting into the next hit. Matt's chirping us already.
Both cuts are good.
No, that was the I told you, Dave. Look, right there. He said, I told you. Matt and I were looking at his underhand log earlier today, and Matt, you told me you were going to have to put a full 10 hits in the front. You did think that this log was a little on the drier side. It was still going to cut, but it was a little drier. Is that what you felt?
That's exactly what I felt from yesterday. I knew sort of to be prepared for the little drier texture and just to put the full hits in that it needs and cut it off from the back.
So what was the difference between the log yesterday and the log today? I mean, this was a faster cut for you. What was the difference?
Well, I think it was just that this one just had a little bit more give to it. There is, a level of dryness that you can quantify. And the chips were able to come off a little bit easier. Yesterday, they just kind of wanted to stay in there and didn't want to shift out.
That's awesome, man. I know you've spent a lot of work this year getting your gear right. I know you focused on your axes quite a bit and changed out most of your handles. What are you running this year?
Yeah, I'm running a leather stocking billet, hand split billet handle. They run a few good baseball bats, and they wanted to create a handle, and I was able to work with them, and now they're awesome to work with, and now I'll put them in most all of my axes now.
That's beautiful, man. Give Matt Koger a big round of applause, putting down a smoking time, your new leader in the underhand.
Well, you heard Matt Koger talking about his underhand from yesterday. Did not have the best underhand chop, a Matt Koger-esque underhand chop. Today, though, pulls it together. Maybe an axe change, maybe a little more fire in the belly. Spanning the axe beautifully as he goes 2 and 2 on the backside. Put a full 10 hit in the front. Best to pay up front. Best to know that front side of the log is 110% cleaned out. So when you get into the back, you're not driving through past the center line of that log.
He's back to full business. Turn the head around. Go do the interview.
There's your score official time for Matt Koger. Puts him on top with an 18.70. Well, we got 2 more heats left in the underhand chop. And since we have our defending champ on hand in this next heat coming up, why don't we hear about a survey of the underhand chop from Nate Hodges.
Underhand's a little different. We open what's called a 2 and 2 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. Big chunk of wood falls out. Now we get into it, and we're just going to go at it and attack it. And by then I will have understood, like, hey, this is a good log or this is a really crappy log. You know, and the really crappy logs will humble you real quick. If you try to take a shortcut on the front, you're gonna get to the back and you're gonna have a major problem. So you kind of do it on the fly a little bit, but you gotta have a little bit of a plan going into it, but you will make adjustments. And I'm sure that's common for most competitors.
Let's bring out our former national champion, Jason Lentz, and our current national and world champion, Nate Hodges.
Well, here we go. A couple of former champions here. The champ from 21 and 23, Jason Lentz, going up against our defending champion, Nate Hodges of California.
Well, I want to thank Nate Hodges for agreeing with me. You heard in that interview. He must have somehow gone back in time to do that interview after he just heard me talk about Matt Coger's cut.
It had to be some sort of trick like that.
Yeah, but we all know it. You don't want to short yourself in the front where you're cutting through past
Athletes ready.
log.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1. Go!
Good sticks of wood. You'll see these guys try to sneak an 8-hit face in the front, but a lot of these guys be putting in 10-hit faces. Even if it takes them past center line, they know that they're going to have they've paid up their insurance in the front. Look at Jason Lentz as he attempts to reel in Nate Hodges in the back of this lock. Hodges goes top, middle, bottom. Bottom's not going for Hodges. Oh boy, Tommy.
Wow.
All right, let's talk about stand number 1 as we watch head judge Rich Hallett walk over to that block. Oh, there's the best thing in the world. I tell you what, there's something about standing on these logs. You can feel them separate even if you can't see it. Probably to the camera and the folks at home, it looked like Jason Lentz's block was still together. I'd love to see a tight shot of Jason's block with that last hit.
Both cuts are good.
That's what we like to see right there. 2 good cuts from 2 great competitors. And that Jason Lentz, knowing the block was severed, that is just a veteran move because I didn't see it shake. Jason, I know you're a veteran of the sport. You felt it, buddy. Talk to me about that cut because it was fast.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, Dave. Had a couple miss hits, but yeah, it came to the back and I felt it break in the middle. It was kind of punky wood, so I tried to set that up in the bottom so it would maybe save me a hit. And I think it did.
I think it absolutely did, buddy. We're going to see what these times are. Stand with me here for a second. We'll take a look at this cut. That cut right there, as soon as you made the turn, Hodges was fully engaged, hammering away at this thing. And I'm hoping they're going to show us the cut. They haven't showed us it yet. There it is. But what are you feeling here?
Well, let's watch this head-to-head matchup between 2-time former champ Jason Lentz, current reigning champ Nate Hodges. The speed from Hodges, hands at the bottom of the axe handle, just pistoning that axe into the block. Let's watch this finish though from Jason Lentz. He's got the top cleaned out. He goes into drive. Watch this hit right here. Yep. Now, I've seen 8 times out of 10 where that block will twist a little bit, but there's a couple fibers in there. Head judge Rich Hallett walks over, he grabs the end of the log, he pulls perfectly horizontal. If there are any fibers in there, even a toothpick, it will not pull away horizontally. In that case, it pulled away very cleanly. And Tommy, I mentioned at the end of that heat, you can feel it. You can just feel it in your feet. We can't see it. Jason Lentz knew it. A bit of a gamble, but if he went back and put one more hit in, well, then that's going to count to his total time.
Jason Lentz's time of 20.53, good enough to best Nate Hodges 21.01. So it's Coger, Nicely, Lentz, and Hodges.
Right now, Nicely in second, Coger still in the lead.
Let's go into our 6th and final heat of the underhand. Trevor Beaudry and Matt Slingerland.
All right, Trevor Beaudry on stand number 1 going up against Matt Slingerland. Definitely one of our ones to watch, as you outlined at the start of the show. All right, a sign for the mustache.
This is Beaudry's 3-year event. This is by a lot. Yeah, Trevor Beaudry, he's a winning jumper in any country, in any hemisphere, the man on the left.
Trevor Beaudry, the teacher from New Hampshire.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Both these cutters in the mid 19-second range in qualifying rounds. Maddie Slingerland, a 19:31, our fastest underhand cutter coming in there. A little bit of a hang-up, and Beaudry and Slingerland turn together. Championship points on the line. Maddie Slingerland's been so close so many times. Goes back to one more chip hit down to the bottom. It is Beaudry.
Oh, wow.
About one hit below Maddie Slingerland. Beaudry making a statement here in the finals.
Both cuts are good.
You can tell Trevor was whispering sweet nothings to himself, talking about that block.
Trevor, you were anxious to get off the stage, buddy. You're on a roll. Great cut. You had a great cut. There's a reason you're in the final heat. You were ranked the top 2 with Maddie Sling. Talk about that cut. Are you chasing Matt Koger, or are you getting that out of your mind, just cutting your block, buddy?
All I can do there is cut my log, see what the log gives me, see if I can get the pace to clip Matt. But Matt put up a good time and some timber that's stiffer than we've necessarily cut here before. Hopefully that rolls into second, and I'd be happy with that.
Now, there's this fine line of gripping the axe too tight. You have to stay loose, but you have to bring power. How do you get that? How do you find that fine line of staying loose, but also finishing the hit?
It's a lot of chopping, Dave. Really, you know, it's swinging and developing it, figuring out where you make power, how you can stay relaxed as you can be, and still move fast, still hit the log with a lot of power. And it takes a lot of time.
Great cut in front of this big Milwaukee crowd. I know it's difficult to stay loose. If you want to stick around, we can watch the replay. But here we go.
Talk to us, buddy. There you on the left.
There we go, side by side. That is Trevor Beaudry kind of in the background. Maddie Slinger in the front ground. Maddie again had a 19:31 yesterday, but that was a different stick of wood, a different day. Things look good in this going into this backside, but Beaudry was not waiting around. He had a huge front in the log. Got that top cleaned out. You see him, he's already punching at the bottom. Took him 3 bottom drivers to get it off, but eventually found whatever was holding there. Comes off ahead. I think he's going to probably end up second overall. That is a big head start for him. No, he's going to up third, just barely behind Ben Nicely.
Yeah, Trevor Beaudry's time, a 19.91 officially right there. And Matt Slingerland, 6th place, probably not up to his standards here. And the man on top, the winner, the underhand chop, is going to be Matt Koger.